A reading from the scroll of the prophet Isaiah. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, and recovery of sight to the blind, to the opening of the prison for those who are bound, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. The fulfillment of this scripture, as you have heard it, is today. This is the year of the Lord's favor. This is a year of jubilee, a year the poor, the brokenhearted, the captive, and the blind are offered redemption. Here, now.
Jesus, please explain why you stopped the reading before Isaiah spoke of the day of vengeance of our God.
The day of vengeance is in the future.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Thursday, January 16th. Yes, we are just passing the halfway mark of January, and like in 4 days from now, early next week, Monday, we've got the inauguration of President Trump. Now, this is a very important podcast. Why? Because if you've listened to what I've been saying and speaking about in the past few months, well, Andrew and I have been talking for many years already, but specifically the past few months, this is getting into a very critical time point. We all saw, and this is a factual statement, we all saw what happened on November 5th, 6th, okay? Bitcoin jumped vertical right on the election results. It went like $5,000, $10,000. So Trump got elected, and then the markets reacted. So what you get is a reaction in the markets. Why I'm saying all this is because what's about to happen here starting Monday is at that inauguration time point, we are going to get what? A reaction in the markets. And it's always important to know which direction. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is cycles, the patterns are playing out beautifully. And as silver is going to continue to rise with gold, we've got something fascinating happening. We've got early next week, the inauguration. Charts are indicating Trump brings in the kingdom of David. So what I'm saying, and sorry for the long introduction, but that's why I have Andrew here to talk about gold and silver, because right now is a still, again, I don't want to give financial advice, but I personally just bought more gold and more silver from Andrew in December on that pullback. Why? Because I knew that was the bottom there again. And all I know is it was going to turn. It did. And now we're seeing silver back above $30. It's actually playing with $31 again. So with all of that said as an introduction, thank you, Andrew, for being here. My question to you is, what's the market been doing? And are you getting a lot of people buying right now, or are they waiting?
Well, it seems like after the election results, Americans took an extended victory lap. We had some people selling back to us, and we had a lot of people just really too excited to really do anything. But then once January hit, we saw a lot of people out there doing portfolio reviews, which is, when you look at all your investments and you figure what moves you need to be made, that you need to make for the whole year. As you just pointed out, January is half over. Next thing you know, it's going to be summertime. And then we're going to be winding out the end of 2025 before we know it. So you do have to carve out some time at this time of the year to really make whatever moves you need to be made, that need to be made. And we've seen people do exactly that. And it seems that some people really have started to rush in to try to get in under the wire. And what I mean is people want to get in now. A lot of the bigger dollars are getting in now before the inauguration on Monday. Even yesterday, we had one person that is a return customer that did a multi-million-dollar purchase of silver and gold. And this is what people should be doing. It's January. You take time to be able to protect everything that you've worked for. This is a good time to make whatever moves need to be made. But in this case, we know something's coming, and it doesn't feel like it's going to go against us. It feels like it's going to go in favor of gold and silver. In fact, gold right now is about $60 to $70 away from its all-time high. And silver is not that far from the high of last year, which was like a 13-year high before that. So the metals have held up well, and it's only a matter of time before they're able to make the run that we know is going to happen.
So another question I have for you is, we've seen silver, you and I started talking when it was probably $15, $14. So it's at least already doubled in price. So it's 100% increase from when we started talking about silver. So we've gone from 14 up to 15, say up to 30. So we've got, a doubling of price. That's called 100%. Gold at the time was like $1,500, $1,600, and now we've got gold at what? $2,700 and change. So everything's gone up. But yet Bitcoin, I just want to bring this up again because Bitcoin went from, at that time, it might have been, 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, and now it's over nearly $99,000. You have to understand, they're going to be holding back precious metals. I've said in all my podcasts with you that the last horse out of the gate is silver. And so we've seen gold already up to $2,700. Bitcoin's at 100,000, but yet silver is on the cheap. In other words, it's the least expensive precious metal in the world. So let's talk about money supply, and then I want to ask you a question. So in the 70s, a home was worth 50,000, 30,000. Those of us who were in the 70s, cars were 3,000, 5,000. As soon as the 80s hit, Nixon takes us off the gold standard in the 70s, and in the 80s, suddenly a car becomes 10,000 per car, 12,000 per car. Suddenly a house jumps to 200, 100,000, 200,000. See, what I'm trying to show you is that they create money out of thin air. And so why you have these large prices on some of the cryptocurrencies is because literally they push that money into the cryptocurrency. So now, let's say, hypothetically, we wake up one morning, because this is going to happen. We wake up one morning or one day, and just like we saw happen with Bitcoin, it went from 50,000 to 100,000 in a matter of months. It went from literally 70,000 to 100,000 in a matter of 30 days. Imagine, so we wake up, Andrew, and we see silver go from where it is in the 30, 35 range to suddenly doubling in price, going to, say, $70. My question to you, and again, how could that happen? Well, because if you look at the inventory, it takes time. That's why it's called a precious metal. So you have to go dig it out of the ground, refine it, and then turn it into a bar or a coin or turn it into something fancy that people are going to buy. But that takes time. So with all the money in the world, if a billionaire stepped up, when someone's a billionaire, they don't have 1 billion, they have many billions. Okay? The billionaire called you up and said, Andrew, I would like $1 billion worth of silver. What would happen to all of the above ground silver in the United States?
Oh, it would be completely depleted for a month or two just based on that one purchase. That's how small the silver community, the physical silver community really is. And I know that because 2 or 3 years ago, one of the Walmart heirs bought $50 million worth of silver, and that ran up the premiums on silver eagles, which did a ripple effect to every other silver coin out there and the bars too.
So now knowing that, and that was only 50 million, now a billion is 1,000 million, not 50, it's 1,000 million, okay? So there is coming a moment in time, and that's why what is gold and silver? It's an insurance policy against these people who make money out of thin air. I'm going to clip in a video here. I'm going to put in a video. I'm not sure if you see this, but this is the one of the presidents speaking about how the Federal Reserve works, and basically, the essence of it is they create money out of thin air, and then they create more money out of thin air to buy the bonds. So it's always been creation of money out of thin air. And that's how the financial system works. They create money out of thin air. Then they create more money out of thin air to buy the bonds to give the money that was created out of thin air value. Think about that. That's what's going on with the financial system.
Yesterday, we had President Trump come out and announce that he is forming the External Revenue Service. And if you're going to get rid of the IRS, which I thought would never, ever in our lifetimes happen, but he keeps talking about doing it. And if you're going to get rid of that, you probably have to create its replacement first. And so he's already created its replacement. And then I want everyone to listen to this clip and tell me if this fits in exactly with what Bo's saying.
When I talk to my conservative friends right here, they always tell me that the problem is high taxes, but they're wrong. Of course, high taxes are extremely high here in the United States. I give you that. You're right in that. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is not the high taxes themselves, but the fact that they are not even really funding the government. Not even those high taxes, higher than a lot of places in the world, not even those taxes are really funding the government. So who's financing the government? Government is financed by treasury bonds, paper. And who buys the treasury bonds? Mostly the Fed. And how does the Fed buy them? By printing money. But what backing does the Fed have for that money being printed? The treasury bonds themselves. So basically, you finance the government by printing money out of thin air. Someone could ask, well, so if the government can print unlimited amounts of money out of thin air, why did they collect taxes? I mean, in theory, it would make sense, right? If they can print unlimited amounts of money, why would they need taxes for it? The answer is simple, but it's very shocking. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not. It's shocking, but it's true. The government is funded by money printing, paper backed with paper, a bubble that will inevitably burst. The situation is even worse than it seems, because if most Americans and the rest of the world were to become aware of this farce, confidence in your currency would be lost. The dollar would fall, and the Western civilization with it.
That was the president of El Salvador at CPAC just a few days ago, saying that they create money out of thin air, and then they create more money out of thin air to buy the bonds that were created out of thin air. And then they make you pay taxes on this money that was created out of thin air to make you believe you're actually doing something. But all this is it's all an illusion. That's what this is. And so why I want to make reference to that is because gold and silver, what are they? The exact opposite. It's not an illusion because they can create, as you know, they can either click a button and remove all the money from your account, Andrew, or by accident, they can click an extra zero and you might get more money in your account, but it's just digits. It's not money in your account. There's digits in your account. And you compare the opposite to that would be gold and silver. Gold and silver, you can actually what? Hold in your hand. You can actually hold it in your hand and it's honest and it's real money. The difference being is if it's in an account, they can track and watch everything versus why do they hate it? Because if I gave Andrew a silver coin or he gave it to me, guess what? No one would know. And that's why they hate it, because there's no transparency in it and they want ultimately control everything. So back to the point about this money creation, what did he say? In a single day, when this bubble bursts, why would anybody need gold and silver? Because at some point, all illusions, all frauds come to an end. And Andrew's got this on his website. Every single money system, monetary instrument system ever created going back thousands of years, every one of them have gone to what, Andrew?
It's gone to nothing. They've been completely replaced.
That's right. So history tells us every single money instrument, you can go back to the time of the wars, go back thousands of years to the time of Rome. Rome's currency's gone. You can buy it now as a collectible, has no value, has value in the silver that's in it. But see, even Rome's coin has still value in it, in the gold or the silver that's in it. And they add another premium because of the numismatic, the stamp on it. But that's all the value. There's no monetary value. You can't go give it back to Rome because Rome is gone. Caesar's gone. And so why I say that is because gold and silver is an insurance policy against that suddenly moment of when the bubble pops. History says unequivocally, 100%, the US dollar bubble is going to pop. Period. 5,000 years of history says the US dollar and the financial system that we know today is going to pop. The El Salvador president did a beautiful job on explaining that. So, why I say again to Andrew is if we wake up one day and the bubble pops and if someone calls up Andrew and says, oh my gosh, what just happened? Andrew, I need gold and silver. Here's $1 billion. Andrew may not get the call. Somebody else might get the call. Okay. But someone's going to get the call. And when that moment happens, you have another billionaire call, maybe another one in the United States. And next thing you know, within the United States, within a very short window of time, maybe a few days, all the above ground gold and silver, all the ground, above ground gold and silver, all of it, especially silver, gone. Am I wrong on that, on saying that, Andrew? If many billionaires stepped up because of what just theoretically happened in the financial system, because they bought insurance, they know that if an event like that happens, the only insurance for 5,000 years on any systemic collapse ever has always been gold and silver. So the U.S. financial system is going to pop. And when this event goes down, anybody and everybody's going to want the one asset class that's been money for 5,000 years. So again, back to you, Andrew. When this event happens, because history says, 5,000 years of history says it's going to happen. When that event happens and all the billionaires step up and say, I want, what's going to happen to all the above ground silver and gold?
It's all going to completely dry up. And we actually have seen this happen back in late 2022. And I go back to the $50 million silver purchase that someone had made anonymously. And that had such a deep effect on the available physical silver that that person bought silver eagles. It dried up all the silver eagles that were available. It dried up all of the silver eagles that were inbound. So anybody else out there, regular people, like people that watching this podcast that want to invest in silver at that time, they would just get their hands on whatever they can get. It didn't matter if it was 100-ounce bars or silver philharmonics, which I believe that you bought some in November of that same year when silver was only $18.50 an ounce. But at that time, a silver eagle, the premium above the price of silver that it sold for was $18. It was like almost 100%. And the premiums were so high because nobody could get silver. They had some of the dealers that I work with that sell to us wholesale told me, they'd say, Andrew, we're cleaning out every corner of our safe. I found some Canadian silver dollars. Do you want those? I've got a bunch of 90% silver. Do you want those? Like literally everybody was reaching into the back ends of their safes trying to find anything that's silver and take advantage of the fact that the premiums were higher. Today, the premiums are low. And this is when people should be getting into it. It's sort of like, to compare it to cryptocurrency, we've got a lot of people out there that are trying to buy Bitcoin right now. And you've pointed out on a previous podcast that no, the time to get Bitcoin would have been, say, a year and a half ago, because I took some Bitcoin to Dubai to make a large purchase when I was there at the end of 2023. Bitcoin was only like 35,000 for one Bitcoin. And I traded several Bitcoin for what I was trying to purchase. And I probably should have held on to it, but that's the time to hold on to it. Right now is a good time to cash out of some of it and get into gold and silver. But to answer your question, every 2 or 3 years, gold and silver completely dry up, especially silver. And it's going to keep happening. It's just, it takes one event to make that happen.
And the event that's coming down the pipeline is going to be an event like no other. this event that's coming, this is the last podcast we did. We did a discussion about understanding this timeline going back all the way to the Declaration of Independence. And my point is, when Trump comes into this summer, something's going to go down so big financially in our world that all the above ground silver is going to be gone. You might be able to get little bits of gold and silver, some gold, but when this event goes down, it's going to be nearly impossible to get silver. And so again, why it's important to understand this, because Andrew right now, if you called him today's example, he can still deliver actually very quickly. Andrew's in one source that I've used over the years. So I've used many people over the years, but Andrew beats all of them with delivery. I've never seen anybody deliver as fast as Andrew with regards to delivery. It's truly breathtaking to watch. And the reason I say that is because whether you're sending $100 or several $1,000s, whatever it is, there's that window of time that is like that no man's land. So you call up a dealer and you say, I want $1,000 worth of silver or $100,000 or whatever it is, okay? And then you agree on a price, you agree on everything else, and then you send that wire. Once you send the wire or the check, and the money leaves your account, you're sitting in no man's land. You got no money, or the money's gone, and you got no gold or silver because it hasn't arrived yet. And so you don't want to wait weeks and weeks on end before that arrival. You want to wait 2-3 days, a short few days, and in those 2 or 3 days, whatever you're waiting, you want a tracking number. So literally within a day or two of sending the wire, you get a tracking number from Andrew, and you know that stuff's being sent to wherever you're getting receipt of it. The point I'm trying to say is, don't leave windows where you could potentially have an issue of massive discomfort where you're waiting weeks for something to arrive. And so that's again why I love why I love having Andrew on the show, is because he only sells what he has, what's available, and what he can deliver very, very quickly. And that takes it to the next point with regards to delivery and precious metals. With regards to the price, can you pretty much access a lot of different coins right now, or bars, things that people might want? And also, if you can expand further, Andrew, on if people say don't have access to cash right now, but let's say they've got some kind of 401k or some kind of IRA. How does all that stuff work? And if you can expand on that for everybody.
Sure. So yeah, it's right now the gold and silver supply is actually readily available and shipping very, very, very quickly. So the only thing that we ever have waits on are some of the coins that we actually make. So we might order, say, 30,000 2-ounce silver General Flynn coins, and it might take them a week to make those and then ship them to us. So we usually try to only sell what we actually have in stock ready to go. But sometimes we get these big influxes of purchases where it eats all that up, where it's all committed, and we'll just let people know that it's going to take a week to ship it. But most items will ship quickly within about a day or two and of cleared payment. And it's really great. We realize that people invest in gold and silver so that they could have a sense of security, peace of mind, so that their investments don't keep them up at night. And on occasion, if it does take a little longer, we might get a call where somebody will say, hey, I just want to know when you're going to ship this. And I'll take many of those calls personally and let people know, like, hey, everything's good. I just want to let you know that it'll take a couple of extra days, because we don't want to be responsible for people that make purchases through us and then having it be an uncomfortable thing where you can't sleep at night, because it's meant to do the opposite of that. And we even had somebody yesterday that did a Bitcoin purchase for about 100,000, and we've had a lot of people do that. So they actually transferred Bitcoin to buy silver. And yesterday was a day with a lot of activity in the cryptocurrency world, and it took almost an hour for us to receive that Bitcoin. And it's just like you said, it's whether it be a wire transfer or a Bitcoin transfer, once it leaves your account, you don't have it anymore. And you also don't have the product. So it's good to know who you're dealing with. And we've had people that have done, multiple purchases, $10,000, $20,000 each. And then we think that, hey, that's a $10,000, $20,000 guy. When they buy, that's what they usually do. And then they'll call us later and say, okay, I've got 500,000. but it's after they have a level of comfort in dealing with us. And you want to have that before the big event happens, because when the big event happens, everything's going to be moving so quickly that you might make an emotional decision to do this instead of when using your brain, where you just want to make sure that you're dealing with the right people. So with that being said, we actually have helped thousands of people protect their retirement accounts by rolling over their 401ks and IRAs into precious metals IRAs. And you can do this without it being a taxable event. You have 60 days to roll it over. If you do that, then it just continues on as a retirement account. But it'll actually hold physical gold and silver held at a third party. It's a third party depository, and the fees are very, very little compared to what it would cost to insure it if it was at your home. So we can do 401ks, 403bs. We can do government retirement accounts, inherited IRAs, simple IRAs. So I would urge people to reach out to us to find out if your IRA is a qualified IRA to be rolled over into a precious metals IRA. And again, if this falls under something you want to do, if you're doing a January portfolio review, or even here in California, we've got these fires that have really made people think twice about their lives and how they could be prepared for just about anything, because we had so many people that just needed to leave their homes and try to think, like, what do I take? They weren't ready for that. And it's a time to look at everything in your life and figure out, how can I be the most prepared to number one, protect my life and my family's lives, and then number two, protect everything that we've always worked for. So I urge people to reach out to us.
You mentioned the word big event, or two words, big event. There's a big event coming. What is it? Inauguration. Understand that inauguration time point is biblical, because for 4 years, they've done everything they can to not let him get into office. Think about that. And now he's about to step into office to do everything they don't want him to do. That's about to happen. So the big event's about to go down. When this big event goes down, then you get the reaction, the consequences. Then you get the bigger events. And so as wild as that, as important as that event is this coming Monday, we're gonna watch on Monday, silver and gold jump strongly vertical on the inauguration, Monday into Tuesday. You're gonna see it happen. It's gonna jump very strongly to the upside vertical. And I'm just saying that because this is setting the stage for what's about to go down in February. Between today and February, you've got 2 weeks. February's right around the corner. I'm telling you, when February hits, whatever chaos and as crazy as we've seen so far in January, February's wild, more wild. It's crazier. And then we step into March, which is going to be even more. So when this all starts to happen, the wealthy people of this world are going to do one specific thing. They're going to want to protect their wealth. And the greatest protection of wealth for 5,000 years has been gold and silver. And guess what? It will be again. The difference and the problem is going to be for the world who's waiting to see which side won. I love the prophecy that was given by Kent Christmas. You know what he said, Andrew? He says, those who are waiting to see which side wins. Does Trump get inaugurated? He already won at the election. For those of you who are waiting to see which side wins, they're waiting to see what happens with the inauguration. Those of you waiting to see what happens, you've already chosen, and you've chosen poorly.
So watch me, saith God, all that I've declared shall come to pass. Make sure, saith the Lord, that when I begin to release my blessings, that you do not miss them. Because you rode the fence to see which side won before you chose. And I say to you, you ride the fence, saith God, you've already chose.
Because when this event goes down, it's going to go fast and quick. It starts with the inauguration and then leading to pandemonium and just leading to incredible price movements to the upside in February. I'm telling you it's coming. And so all I got to say, I want to finish with, I just want people to know that Andrew is there. There's many gold dealers. You can reach out to anybody you want. But at the same time, too, at least for comfort and security, I know that Andrew delivers quickly and he's got great products at great prices. And so anything else you want to add, Andrew, please do. Oh, actually, I want one thing as well. You've mentioned Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin at $100,000. Okay, think about that. A digital coin at $100,000, you could actually use that. I've done this personally, where I've sent cryptocurrencies to buy precious metals because Bitcoin as great as it is, 100,000, or the other coins that are at these higher prices, like XRP is starting to jump now. Understand that silver is it's the last coin that hasn't moved yet. But when that thing goes, and there is a prophecy, which I will clip in with this as well too. And the prophecy states that as good as maybe people who love, who are these XRP addicts, it's going to keep going up higher and higher, that silver, listen closely, silver is going to far outperform any movements of Bitcoin and specifically XRP.
XRP is digital and not on my gold standard. Therefore, you will not see the returns of silver. But there will be growth of XRP. Invest in my money. The silver and the gold is mine and the cattle on 1,000 hills. So when that last horse gets out of the gates, like this is a racetrack, it's going to go so fast and so hard to the upside. It's going to far outperform the cryptocurrencies because they've held it back for generations. This is going to be a generational price explosion on silver that likes of which we can't even comprehend. And so why I say all that is because, again, I personally have used cryptocurrencies to buy silver. And so I want to make reference to that. Maybe you can expand upon that as well, Andrew. And then lastly, if people want to reach out to you, how do they do so? And what's the quickest way to make sure that they complete the transaction and get this thing wrapped up before February hits?
Yeah, so you're talking about the potential of silver. I mean, in the early 70s, an ounce of gold was $30, and now it's over $2,700 for 1 ounce, and likely headed to about $3,000 an ounce. All the big banks out there seem to be pointing to $3,000 gold. Bank of America, Citigroup. I mean, so many of them are predicting what we think is obvious. So if gold could make that type of move over that time span, then certainly silver could do it probably 2 or 3 times over in that time span, because silver just tends to go up a lot quicker than gold does. I had people last year, halfway through the year, tell me, wow, gold is doing so good. I wish I bought more. And then I would just sit down with them and do the math. Silver was actually up more percentage-wise than gold was. It's just people don't tend to look at it that way because gold gets all the credit. And it won't be that for much longer. So as far as payments, we will accept Bitcoin payments for both gold and silver. And typically it involves you letting the associate that we assign you to know when you agree to make the purchase that you want to make it with Bitcoin. Then they'll give you a Bitcoin address along with an invoice, and you just send it to that Bitcoin address, and we'll do our best to let you know as quickly as possible once we receive the Bitcoin transfer. And then you'll get a paid invoice, and then we'll begin the process of getting it shipped to you. And it's shipped fully insured. And we cover all that. You don't have to pay for that. It's all included in the price. So people should reach out to us on bh-pm.com. It's our website. You can you'll see that there's a page on there for Bo Polny, and on any of the pages, just fill out the online form, put in your name, email address, phone number, and how you heard about us. Say Bo sent me, and in the notes section, just say what you're looking to do. You can say, I have Bitcoin. I'm looking to use it to make a silver purchase, or I want to roll over a 401k into a precious metals IRA, or I'm a long-time investor in gold and silver. I don't need a consultation, but I would like to talk with somebody about making my next purchase. Or if you just want to learn more about how gold and silver work, physical gold and silver, and how it can benefit you, that's fine too. Reach out to us, because you're going, even if you're not ready to do something now, you're going to want to start building the relationship with us a little bit, so that when you are ready, you can make an educated decision. And most people out there are just going to make the decision to invest in gold and silver after this big event we talk about happens. And you're not going to have a lot of time to be able to make that decision if you're calling a lot of these other companies, because they're going to high pressure you into doing it. And they're going to tell you that whatever it is that they're talking to you about won't be available later. So here, we don't do that. This isn't a high pressure deal. We give you a chance to talk to your family, pray about it, whatever you have to do, but make an educated decision, and one that you'll feel comfortable with after you've already proceeded. So right now, the metals are available. So I would recommend reaching out as soon as possible.
I'll finish with this. Forget my opinion. Forget Andrew's opinions. And let's just go to the written word. Haggai 2, verse 8 states, "The silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord." That's a scripture where God defines his money. Nowhere in scriptures does it describe a paper monetary system called the Federal Reserve note. It's not in scriptures. Okay? Period. It ain't in there. Matter how hard you look, matter how many times you read the Bible, it's not in there. But it talks about gold and silver over and over and over again. So if you have zero gold and zero silver, none, nada, if you don't have any, first off, you don't understand history, because history, 5,000 years of history says you will be proven wrong. And when that event happens, anybody and everybody is going to want the one asset class that has been money for 5,000 years, and that is gold and silver. So this is not telling you to do anything more than read your Bible, read scriptures, and the Bible tells you that gold and silver are his money, God's money, and ultimately what it is, it's a very simple insurance policy that in case all heck breaks loose, guess what? You've got an insurance policy, and so what ends up happening, that insurance policy allows you to do one simple thing every night. Maybe Andrew can finish on this point. That one simple thing every night is allow yourself to have the best night sleep and not worry. Do you get those calls, Andrew? Do you hear that? Do people tell you that?
Oh, all the time, all the time. I have a longtime client of mine that we've worked with since 2010. And at first, it was the wife that was buying gold and silver from me. And the husband was not really behind those purchases. He was comparing it to every other investment out there. And eventually he started having conversations with me, and then he started investing in gold and silver. And every year he calls to contribute to the IRAs that he has set up with us. And then once he does that, then we actually have to make a purchase with it, or help him make a purchase. And the last time we reflected on working together for 14 years. And when we first started, like gold was like $1,000 an ounce or $900 an ounce. And he's like, meeting you was like the greatest thing that has happened to me as far as investments go. And I go, but you do remember that you didn't believe in me at all. Your wife was making these purchases with her money, and it was almost like this rogue thing that she was doing without your support. He goes, yeah. He goes, it took a while for me to follow her lead on this. And I go, so let me ask you, do you have any regrets? And he goes, well, I wish I've got more. Yeah, I set him up for that. And he said, I wish I got more. So if you get too much with precious metals and you're overextended, you're not stuck with it. You can always liquidate a portion to give you whatever comfort you need. It's not a forever thing. It's more of a conversion. So I hope to receive many more calls like that one. And occasionally I do, but we have so many more clients now. And as the metals start to move in the right direction, I look forward to it. And just closing with when I see you at the Reawaken events, Bo, and I'm sure people tell you all the time too, but people grab me when I'm walking around and they say, "Hey, I made a purchase with you in 2021. Thank you so much. It's made my life a lot better, and it was one of the better decisions that I've ever made." And I love to hear that.
Yeah, and the one thing I always hear too, I joke with this with you, but it's the women, right? It's like the women everybody bailed Jesus at the cross, but the women stuck around, right? One thing about women is they have a lot of wisdom. You know, you can say, hey, we're smart, right? But women, they're smart too, but they got wisdom. You got to give them, they have wisdom. And I hear so much commonly when I go to these events, women, a lot of women, like you're saying, they buy precious metals. And then finally, they say, guess what? The good news, my husband just got on board. Like I hear that so often. Or the other scenario is, I buy precious metal, but I wish my husband would get on board with what I'm saying. So again, I just want not even forget my opinion, forget Andrew's opinion. Show your husband the written word. Haggai 2 verse 8, the silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. If you love God, you should be holding, not an opinion, but you should be holding some of his money. I do. Andrew does. Why? Because it's the greatest. You're putting your family's financial position on God. So in case there's ever financial worldly calamities, we know that God is a waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, and the light in the darkness. So when it gets dark, God shines. And so fear not, this is going to be an incredible year. And I'm telling you, when Trump gets inaugurated and when February hits, fireworks are coming in precious metals. So I'm telling you, when gold gets to 3,000, Andrew, it's going to blow to 4,000. There's nothing in between. It's just going to go straight to 4,000. This is coming, and I do believe that moment is in February. So I really hope people have taken this video, this interview to heart. They've listened. They've shared it with their friends, shared it with their families, their loved ones, just so they, again, at least they've listened to what is coming. Then you have free will. People can do whatever they want. So in closing, Andrew, again, how can people find you, reach you? And again, God bless you and thank you for being here.
Yeah, definitely on the website is the best way. Schedule a consultation on bh-pm.com. Every single page on the website has a form that you can fill out. It's all the same form. So I personally read every single one of the website submissions that come in from the form that's right on your screen. And let's say that you put on the how can we help you portion. If you say that you want to roll over an IRA, I will make sure that our IRA department gets that, and they'll help you understand everything. They'll explain every part of how it works. And if you're somebody that has never bought gold or silver before, then I'll get you over to someone that is ready with all of the answers of that somebody that's just beginning might need answers to before they're even ready to consider proceeding with a purchase. So it's really important that you're as detailed as possible, because that's how I can get you the best help.
Andrew, God bless you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. We will talk soon. And I know that we're doing a podcast again next week with Pastor Dave, and this will be right after the inauguration. So again, exciting times ahead, and God bless everybody for being here. Amen.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.